All right, Mr. Nichols is present. Mr. Rojas, you're present with Sir Joby Wells. And Mr. Wells was previously in court. Let me pull this up real quick. Hold on. Has 2 motions to revoke unadjudicated probation on probation in each of those cases for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. In those motions, pled true to counts 3, 4, and 6. I've received an updated pre-sentence report as well as some jail incident reports that everyone should have been given copies of. Has everyone received all of that?
We have, yeah. Yes, Your Honor, we have.
And these cases are both, I want to make sure I said it right, they're aggravated assault, family violence. They're both first-degree felonies, deferred probations.
That's
and
not correct, Your Honor.
It's not?
One is a non-family violence, and one is a second-degree family violence.
Okay, so in that motion, was that wrong then? It's aggravated on?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Ross and I actually double-checked this morning.
Okay.
Under the code and under indictment and under the original plea papers, it's a second degree.
Both of them are second degrees,
Yes,
2 to 20 range. There was no agreement. And does anyone have any additions or corrections to that pre-sentence report?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Rojas, does the state have witnesses with regard to those other counts?
Yeah, they do, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
I believe they do.
Oh, did I say Mr. Rojas? Mr. Nichols, does the state have? Thank
I do,
you.
Your Honor.
You may call your first witness.
State calls Officer Stevenson.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
If you'll please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Officer. Could you give your full name for the court reporter, please?
Officer Sean Stevenson,
And how do you spell Sean?
SEAN,
Would you pull that microphone down too?
And
Is it on?
green lights.
Okay, perfect.
And Stevenson, is that with a V or PH?
A V.
Okay, thank you. And how are you employed, sir?
Sorry?
How are you employed?
I'm a police officer in the police department.
How long have you worked for Beaumont Police?
Approximately 15 months.
And during that time, have you worked on patrol?
Yes, sir.
When did you complete the field training and all that?
December 15th.
2024?
Yes, sir.
And so during the month of April of 2024, what were your job duties? What were you doing for Beaumont Police?
I was on patrol. I was in the FTO phase. That was phase 2.
And who was your supervisor for training officers?
Officer Simpson.
Okay, and did y'all have reason to respond to a call in the early hours of April 13th, 2024 in the city of Beaumont?
Yes, sir.
What part of the city did you respond to?
That was the north end.
Do you recall what street?
Maida, I believe.
And Maida, is that in the city of Beaumont?
Yes, sir.
And that's in Jefferson County, Texas?
Correct.
So what was the nature of the call?
A lady called and said that her ex-boyfriend was harassing her.
And when y'all arrived on Maida Street, what did you encounter? What did you find?
There was a black male matching the description that she'd given dispatchers, and we made contact with him.
About what time of the morning was this? Do you remember?
This was in the early hours of the morning.
2 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
Did this individual you encountered, was he wearing anything unusual?
He was described as wearing all black clothing, and that's what this individual was wearing.
Did you identify him?
Yes, sir.
And what was his name?
Joby Wells.
Do you see Joby Wells in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you point him out for me and tell me something he's wearing?
Sitting right there in the orange jumpsuit.
Your Honor, may the record reflect this witness has identified the defendant, Joby Wells.
The record will so reflect.
And so when you encountered Mr. Wells, did he explain what he was doing in the street on Maida?
I believe so.
What did he tell you?
He said he was there to talk to this lady, the complainant.
Did it seem unusual to you that he was in that area at that time?
Not at the time. I'd never met him before.
As y'all investigated, what did you find out?
Excuse me. He was her ex-boyfriend, and he had allegedly called her numerous times.
Objection here, say Your Honor.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Did you, and she reported that he had been calling her multiple times, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you verify that anyway?
I did.
How'd you do that?
He gave us permission to view his phone logs, and he had made several calls to her phone, and hers also showed many calls.
So he allowed you to view his phone?
Yes, sir.
And you recall about how many calls he made to her number?
Approximately 41, I believe.
All that same evening and early morning?
I believe they might have started the day before.
Okay. But about 40 within one day, is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
And was there a certain number that he called her from?
He called her from his registered number, and then was believed that some calls came from numbers that weren't necessarily.
Objection, speculation, Your Honor.
Overruled.
Go ahead, officer. When you reviewed her phone, what did it appear the numbers came from?
Many of the calls said no caller ID, I believe, but some came from his phone.
Okay. And when you made your stop of Mr. Wells on Maida Street, and while you conducted your investigation, were you wearing a body camera?
I was.
And was it working properly that night?
Yes, sir.
And did it make an accurate recording of your interactions with the defendant, Joey Wells, and Miss Unique Banks?
Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry, was Unique Banks the complainant that's called?
Correct.
And you spoke with both of these people yourself?
Yes, sir.
And have you had a chance to review a recording of your body camera this morning?
Yes, sir.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Showing you I've marked for purposes of this hearing, State's Exhibit 1, the thumb drive. Do you recognize this?
Yes, sir.
And is this the recording you reviewed this morning?
I believe so.
The State's Exhibit 1, does it contain a accurate and fair recording of your body camera?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'll offer in evidence State's Exhibit 1, please record.
Objection.
It's admitted.
And so the timestamp at the top indicates about 2:15 in the morning. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
So at 2:15 in the morning, he stated to y'all that he was over there trying to seek explanation from somebody about some differences they had. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
And was that other person a friend or boyfriend of Unique Banks?
I believe it was a friend.
Okay. And now, Officer Stevenson, when you encountered Joby Wells, did he ever explain how he got to Maida?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall a home address that he gave you?
I believe you said it was on Vincent.
And Vincent is the far north end of Beaumont, isn't that correct?
I believe so.
And did he drive to this location?
I believe so.
Okay. Did y'all locate his vehicle?
Yes, sir. It was located nearby.
Okay. At this point, were y'all aware that Mr. Wells was on probation?
We were not.
And did y'all have any information as to whether or not he'd been told to stay away from this person and this address on Maida?
No, sir.
There's more to this video, but I think that's enough for the court. Officer Stevenson, based on the information you gathered from Mr. Wells and from Unique Banks, was he charged with harassment?
Yes, sir.
Did you and Officer Simpson believe that he had made repeated communications with Ms. Banks with the intent to embarrass in any way or harm her?
Yes, sir.
Shh.
And you yourself viewed the call logs on her phone, as we see here, and you also viewed his call logs indicating that he had made those phone calls. Isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Officer Stevenson. I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Mr. Rojas?
When you looked at these call logs, did you see, there's a way on the phone to see if phones are incoming or they're outgoing, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you take a look at the phone, see how many calls were actually outgoing from his phone or outgoing from her phone?
I remember a lot of incoming calls from her phone. I'm not really sure about that.
Okay. You're not sure, but.
I don't recall.
Okay. So there could have been some from her to him that you just don't recall, those are there.
It could have been.
Okay. So there's a lot of this could have been back and forth, him texting her and her texting back to him, things like that.
It could have been.
Or calling each other back and forth. Did anybody, once you got back to the police station, did anybody go back through his phone? I assume you took his phone into evidence?
I believe so.
Do you know of anybody back at the police station who went back and looked at his phone to verify how many calls were coming from his phone, or how many calls were going from his phone to hers, and how many calls were coming from her phone to his?
I don't know if that happened.
Okay. If it happened, you didn't do it?
Correct.
Okay. In the video, Mr. Wells talks about he's there to talk to a person. He actually says he, right? He's there to talk to a man.
Correct.
Okay. Did you ask Mr. Wells which apartment he was going to go talk to this man?
I don't recall.
Okay. You never verified that it was actually, I see you number 211 up there. That's the one that Ms. Banks came out of, right?
Correct.
You never confirmed with Mr. Wells whether that's the apartment he was going to?
Correct, I did not.
Okay, so he could have been going to talk to a man at another apartment.
Yes, sir.
And we also heard Ms. Banks in that video talk about how I think a week before she'd actually taken Mr. Wells to a plasma center.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's evidence that at least a week before she and he were on good terms.
Correct.
And if he's harassing her a week before, she's not going to take him to the plasma center, right?
Possible.
All these calls that Ms. Banks says that she received on her phone, did she say that she ever picked any of them up?
I don't recall if she said that.
She never said that she answered, or you don't recall that she answered any of those calls?
Correct, I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall her saying that she ever talked that night to Mr. Wells on the phone?
I don't recall.
Now, did you go through his phone and her phone and match up every single call to make sure that the calls that were on her phone, every call that was on her phone was also on his phone? Did you do that with every call?
No, sir.
Did you count the number? You mentioned earlier that somebody had, I think the number you said was 41 calls?
Approximately.
Approximately. Was that on his phone or her phone?
Her phone.
Did you go back and count the number of calls on his phones?
I don't recall.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Rojas.
Officer, oh, go ahead, Mr. Ross. Officer Stevenson, I'm going to forward the video up to where you review his phone with him, so you can clear that up a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Officer Stevenson, do you recall what he's saying right here? I know it's hard to tell in the video.
I believe he's trying to say why he was there and what was happening.
Did he offer a reasonable explanation as to why he would be on Maida Street at Unique Bank's apartment at 2:15 in the morning?
I believe he said he was talking to her friend.
Did it seem odd to you that he would be aware that her tires had been slashed the day before?
Yes, sir.
I'll pass witness. Thank you, Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Anything else, Mr. Rojas?
Great, Leon.
Officer Stephen, your call when Mr. Nichols just rewound that video you were looking at Ms. Banks' cell phone. She was going through all the numbers that came through. She said no caller ID, no caller ID, and then that's where the 713 starts. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
She was referring to a phone number from the area code 713.
Yes, sir.
And then when you got Mr. Wells' phone number, his number is 409 area code, right?
Correct.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Nichols?
Just real quick, Judge. And when you reviewed her phone, and he admitted that he called and went over there, there weren't any incoming calls from the 409 number he gave you, were there?
I don't believe so.
Thank you, Officer Stevenson.
Thank you. Anything else?
No, you're.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
You're free to go. Do you
Oh,
want?
Rachel Lopez, Your Honor.
Good morning, ma'am. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give in this trial will be the hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Lopez. Thank you for coming a little bit earlier than we originally told you. I appreciate that. How long have you worked for adult probation?
5 years.
And during that time, are you assigned to supervise Joby Wells?
Yes,
Do you recognize him in the courtroom today?
I do.
Is that him sitting right here?
Yes, it is.
How long have you been his probation officer?
A little over a year.
Were you his probation officer in April of 2024?
Yes,
And were you his probation officer when he was arrested and charged with harassment?
yes.
In the time that you supervised him, did you supervise him when there was a prior motion to revoke?
I did not. He was transferred to my caseload because of that prior motion to revoke.
Okay. And essentially you are a higher level of supervision than standard, is that correct? high, medium, would that be your domain, is the high, medium caseload?
Correct.
At the time you were supervising, had Joby Wells been specifically instructed not to have contact with unique banks?
Yes.
And when was that instruction given or that order given?
I verbally spoke with him on the phone on April 10th and told him he was to have no contact with her at all in any way.
April 10th.
Correct.
The offense date for the harassment is April 16th,
Correct.
correct?
Yes,
So
sir.
the week before, you told him, stay away from this woman, do not have contact with this woman, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And obviously, we just saw, he's at her home at 2 in the morning, would that be a violation of that order?
Yes.
Would calling her either from his phone or another phone number be a violation of that order?
Yes.
Would texting her be a violation of that order?
Yes.
And so all those things were done, at least in the early morning of April 16th, just a few days after you told him, don't do this.
Yes.
During the time you supervised Mr. Wells, did he ever test positive for any drugs or alcohol?
Yes.
When was that?
He tested positive for alcohol on April 30th of 24.
And, okay, is he current well, he's pled true to all these other counts. Is there anything you feel you need to address with the court, Ms. Lopez?
No, I feel that I've said it.
And you prepared an updated sentencing report for the court, and those contain your opinion, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll pass it.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Mr. Rojas?
Good morning, Ms. Lopez.
Mm.
The no contact provision with Ms. Banks, is that, what does it say, just no contact with her?
It was just me verbally telling him to have no contact. We have a provision in all probation conditions that say obey the rules and regulations of the department. And so it's kind of a encompassing thing that if your probation officer tells you not to do it, don't do it. I did not submit an actual order to the court on paper saying to have no contact, but it was verbally acknowledged and understood.
So at the time you told him that on April 10th, that's not something that Judge West ordered?
Correct.
Did you tell him just don't have any contact with her? Did you give him a certain amount of feet not to go within her residence or not?
I didn't give him specifics. I told him, do not call her, do not text her, do not send her letters, do not send your friends. I think I even made the joke about do not send a carrier pigeon.
Okay.
I made it very clear, do not have contact with her at all.
And were you in here for the entirety of this video, or did you walk in late?
I walked in a little late.
Okay. And you've never seen the video?
Correct.
And if we need to go back and watch the video, I guess we can, but I'll tell you that at least what I saw in the video he did, when the officers were talking with Mr. Wells, he was not at the apartment that Miss Banks was in. She was out on the street somewhere. Okay. If he's not talking with her or communicating with her at that point when the police show up, is that in violation of the probation order?
I would say not in regards to contact, but he's also not supposed to be out at 2 o'clock in the morning either.
Okay, that's fair. But that's not alleged in the motion, I don't believe, is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, he put through that. And so if that's not contact, just being at the Mado apartment, so it's a violation of his curfew, but it's not necessarily a violation of the no contact provision.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And then if these calls, I know that that's for the judge's side, but if the calls that were made were not made by Mr. Wells, then he's not in violation of the contact order also, correct? That's all I have, Judge.
Thank you. I just want to make sure, and I'm going back and looking. So the previous motion to revoke that was filed was actually filed based on an allegation of an assault against Ms. Banks. And that was originally going to be ordered to go to ISF, but for whatever reason didn't, sat in jail for some time, placed him on the high medium caseload, instead and continued his probation. Is that all correct?
Correct.
I just want to make sure. Okay.
And Your Honor, I can explain for the court, in 2023, he was charged with family violence, misdemeanor Class A family violence assault against Unique Banks.
Correct.
Motion to revoke was filed. We had a hearing. Ms. Banks did not appear. Even though she was ordered to be there, we tried to get hold of her as best we could. She did not show up. So at that point, we agreed to a 100-day jail sanction because we could not locate the complainant to prove up that part of it. He did plead guilty to that charge at that time. After his motion to revoke had been dismissed, he then continued on his probation.
So he pled guilty to the misdemeanor assault?
He did, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Anything, Mr. Rojas?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Nichols, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you for coming over early.
Yeah, no problem.
Do you have any other witnesses?
State calls Unique Banks, Your
Right.
Honor.
Unique Banks?
No response to Unique Banks.
All right.
And Your Honor, for the record, I've had my investigator contact Ms. Banks, spoke with her last week. She indicated she would be here this morning. She's not answered the phone. It's gone straight to voicemail. She's not appeared as she stated she would.
All right. Any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, stay rest.
Mr. Rojas, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so then with regard to counts, well, let's see, we've got count 1. I am going to find that there was sufficient evidence based on the testimony of the officer as well as his body cam to find count 1 true. I am going to find count 2, find that there was sufficient evidence based on Ms. Lopez's testimony as well as that of the officer and his body cam, that count 2 is also true. Was there testimony about number 5? There was.
Yes,
She
Your Honor.
testified. I am going to find also count 5 based on Ms. Lopez's testimony, count 5 true. Count 3, 4, and 6 were true, pleased by Mr. Wells. So at this time, all counts are true. Mr. Rojas, I will let you go forward with argument.
Thank you. Judge, Mr. Wells would like another chance on probation, Judge. As Mr. Nichols pointed out, he was here previously on a prior motion to revoke for the family assault. At
Can
that
you,
point,
hang on just a second. Would y'all take that down? I want to make sure that it's easier for Ms. Tanner if we're back up there also, make sure that it's working right.
as I said, he was here for the previous motion to revoke, as Mr. Nichols pointed out. At that point, 100-day sanctions were ordered. I don't know if it was at that point or another point, but at some point he was ordered to go to ISF. He was placed in holding at the county jail, and for whatever reason, I guess the bed never opened up, and he was released. So he never got the benefit of ISF. And from what I can see, the reason for going, it was going to be the cognitive track. The reason for going to ISF was so that he could make better life decisions on who to hang out with, how to deal with these personal situations. He never got the benefit of ISF, and it's not through any fault of his own. It just, I'm assuming a bed never opened up because he was sitting in jail waiting to go. I just don't think it's right to punish him for us not getting him the help that we were trying to get him last time. He's telling me that if he were released on probation, he has a job set up in Midland to go work in the oil fields. His uncle is a supervisor at the oil fields. I think there's some classes or some training he needs to go through in order to get a license. Once he gets that license, his uncle is going to give him that job. Of course, if you were to let him stay on probation, you have to go to ISF first, get all that taken care of, and then go to Midland. But I think that probably would be to his benefit to get away from the people around here and get a fresh start over in a different environment. And that's what we're asking to do, Judge. Let him stay on probation, get to ISF, get all that behind him, and start a fresh life in Midland.
Thank you, Mr. Rojas. Mr. Nichols?
Your Honor, I think unleashing Mr. Wells on another county would be an incredible injustice and disservice to those people. Judge, he is on probation for 2 counts of aggravated assault for ramming an ex-girlfriend and her then boyfriend with his vehicle. And I want to draw the court's attention to the original PSI, where the complainant witness in that case, and her version of events states not just about him ramming their car, but that the day this happened, she had broken off their relationship,
and that the day this happened, she began receiving several phone calls from Wells, causing her to block his number. After blocking his number, she began to receive calls from an anonymous number that she refused to answer.
That's his pattern. That's what he does, Judge. He knows it's harder to track if you're using some sort of masking or call blocking app to harass these women. But more importantly, this is just what he does, Judge. He has a misdemeanor family violence assault for which he was revoked in 2000. Conviction date's 2011, revoked in 2013 from that. It has to end at some point, Judge, and I urge the court to exercise the full 20 years in these cases. These things only escalate. And he went over to these people's house, dressed in all black at 2 in the morning to confront them after repeated calls to her. That's scary. I don't like she's not here, Judge, but we know why she's not here. She's scared of this man. And I'm asking the court to put a stop to this today.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols. Mr. Wells, do you have anything to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Stand up and speak loudly and clearly so I can hear you as well as the court reporter.
Yes, ma'am. She's not scared of me. She manipulated herself, so it ain't nothing about nobody scared of me. And I'm trying to start up, because I got kids, like my daughter is 16, she about to graduate in 2 years, and I'm just trying to get out, do whatever the little ISF program to try to better myself and control my temper, work on myself, and try to do, like I said, if I get to go get this job for you, and I can, get away from the, people, that I've been hanging around and, better myself.
So you've been hanging around the wrong people?
Hanging around like just me, like people I do hanging around. I ain't gonna say they influence you, but it's like
You don't think maybe you're the wrong person?
I know, I do have my fault.
You can have a seat. So, Mr. Wells, when you were here before and I got that pre-sentence report done, they talked to you before that pre-sentence report, and I have a quote here that you said, and this is back when you first got these probations, which was in 2019, you said, "I will do good because I do not want to be in any more trouble. I'm trying to be a better father figure and role model for my kids." What if someone was doing what you've done to the women in your life to your 16-year-old daughter?
Be upset.
I'm sorry?
I would be upset.
You'd be upset? You'd probably be more than upset. If somebody rammed their car into her car, somebody showed up at their house, her house, at 2 o'clock in the morning, you'd be more than upset. The problem is your behavior is escalating. It's not getting better. It's actually getting worse. And it's not because we didn't send you to ISF. And you want to talk about, I'm going to go to this little ISF program. It's not a little program. It's something that's really meant to help people. And that's not something that, based on your history, you deserve. I got your jail incident reports. Just in March, in 1 month, you've got 5. You can't even follow the rules when you're in jail, much less when you're on probation. Calling people who are just there doing their job all kinds of names. What, you don't think that's true?
I don't know, you got, man, I don't know how they treat us in there. They come in there and they talk to us any kind of way.
You're in jail. All you got to do is follow the rules. If they say stay in your bunk, you stay in your bunk. You don't call them a bitch because they told you to stay in your bunk. You just follow the rules, which you can't do. Deputy Millhouse had to shush you a minute ago, and instead of just saying, "I'm sorry, yes sir," I saw the look you gave him, and I saw the look you gave me when I told you to be quiet. You don't like people telling you what to do. Clearly. And the B word is the nicest thing you've called them. At this time, in cause number 19-31266, again, find that you entered your pleas of true to counts 3, 4, and 6 freely and voluntarily. I again find counts 1, 2, and 5 true. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty of aggravated assault, family violence, and sentence you to a term of 20 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. There will be an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon in that case. In cause number 19-31267, I'm also going to find that you pled true to counts 3, 4, and 6 freely and voluntarily, find counts 1, 2, and 5 true, find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty of aggravated assault, sentence you to a term of 20 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit, and there's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon in that case as well. You will receive credit on these sentences for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. They will run concurrently, which means together at the same time. I'm going to hand you the trial court certification that shows this wasn't a plea agreement. You do have some rights to appeal. You need to sign that with Mr. Rojas, and he'll give you a copy of it. I'm also handing you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Because of the judgment entered against you in each case, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read the written admonishment I provide you to see what devices qualify as a firearm. If you have questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or about how long that lasts, you can talk to Mr. Rojas. You can sign that and then go back with the bailiff.